I left Pyotr, the man who swam away, in his bleak Siberian village.
With cold, which occasionally reached kind of 50s minus centigrade, so it was incredibly cold. You spit on the ground and it falls as an icicle.
His village is on the edge of the Gulag. Stalin's still alive and the camps are still active.
No, that sort of was very much in the background. The occasional stories of prisoners and encounters with prisoners, speaking almost like as kids who were proud that we could speak the kind of prison slang. The only time you would come in directly in touch with that would be again like me and my brother going into a big town to sell some seed opinions, and coming back you'd come in touch with prisoners returning back from the camps during one of the period sort of rehabilitations, where they would release the prisoners, and that was a very dangerous time because they could rob you, they could even lose you in a game of cards and kill you.
The prisoners?
Yeah.
There's no father to protect him. Because he died when you what?
He died like when I was about a month after my birth.
A string of stepfathers comes and goes. They're kind but drunk, and his mother kicks them out when the wood they've chopped, presumably, is used. Taking his mother's view of life, and barely 15, he's off.
She said, "I don't want you to love me. I want you to grow up and survive in this world."
Really?
The faster you grow up, the faster you're made into a survivor. That was your definition.
Saying goodbye to his native village, Kolposheva, he'll take the riverboat to Tomsk, where he'll study engineering and become a champion swimmer, too.
And here is Tomsk, a big university city and a big military city. Some of the largest missile installations were in Tomsk.
Okay. How long were you in Tomsk before you began to realize that you were in this closed regime, do you think?
I've certainly begun to listen to foreign radio stations. We were listening to jazz music in the Voice of America. We're making homemade records of jazz songs and rock songs and all that. But that was fairly innocent, I think only when I directly came into confrontation with the KGB and the military authorities when I was put into the army.
So how does the swimming come in then?
Swimming went throughout the last years of college, and in fact I hardly studied at college. I passed all the exams and all that, but I was already competing at the district level and then the Republican level.
So swimming looked like being his way into an elite military unit, which was very good news. So you were on a great path.
I was on a very good path.
And so what went wrong?
Well, the military was a way for the Soviet Union to prepare elite sportsmen in every category. As to whether they decided swimming wasn't a priority because it was not, or, it could have been that, I used to love telling jokes, anti-Soviet jokes, as many people did, but the wrong person might overhear you or something like that.
But suddenly the elite unit option was gone, and he found himself in a regular army unit. Is there any hope of questioning this? I mean, did you try?
No, you'd need it.
No.
So
then, did you think for a while, I'll make the best of this? Or?
Well, there was a fight,
With whom?
Well, there was a fight, that particular person he was also against, was kind of, they tried to humiliate him, beat him down and all that, and he actually kicked the sergeant, and the sergeant fell, and there was a kind of a drunken party at the end of working day. And he would have probably killed that person because he was aiming to kick him in the head with his boot. And I intervened, although I pretended to be part of that whole pack, because otherwise you would be set upon yourself, But when I saw that, I actually gave a little, like a jiu-jitsu thing to the sergeant, and he just swirled around, being drunk, and fell very badly on the floor and hit his head. And when he got up, his eyes were red. He was looking at me, I forgot about that one. And then I knew, that's it.
He knew that you're the one who sort of tripped him, huh?
Yeah.
And that was it?
And that was it. And then you're in a very different terrain when you get into that kind of situation, because he has the power.
So what was the first thing he did to you?
That night I knew I couldn't go back to the unit.
Oh.
I would get maimed or killed. It was as simple as that.
That same night?
That same night. That after that happened, I could not go back to the unit because there'd be 10 or more soldiers, you know, who would come up, throw a blanket over you, and then hit you with a brick in the boot, or, you know, something else, you know, that would...
On his orders they'd do that?
With him participating avidly.
Yeah. So, but you said the mess hall you pretended to be poisoned.
In the mess hall, what I did, you know, I crushed a glass, you know, under the table, took out a small thing, put it again into my food, and then presented it to and complained about hurt in the stomach.
Oh, as if you'd swallowed it.
As if I'd swallowed part, and there's another part still there. So there was broken glass in my food, you know, and that would be, even in a military institution where they don't take things very seriously, you know, they say call the emergency service because, you know, it could be.
You were taken off immediately to the infirmary?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the
out of his reach.
Ambulance came, took me to the hospital, you know, and then
out of his
reach. That was the first priority, absolutely first priority, to just get out from that, because that was a dangerous situation. Then I was put into an ordinary hospital, in which after about a day or two of tests, I began to pretend that I was a paranoid schizophrenic.
Suddenly?
Yeah, suddenly. And that was an incredibly hard decision to, you know, here you are saying you're responding adequately to all the stimuli. All of a sudden, doctor comes to me, and he said, you know, how are you? And I said, well, I would have been well if things were better. What do you mean? You know, oh, I know that, you know, I can only drink water out of the common tap, because if I drink the liquid you give to me, I'd get poisoned. And you see these eyes widening, you know, and you know that you've crossed the line now, because, you know, if you can't step back after that already, and here you are, you're saying these things, you find somebody in you saying that, and you're risking at least 8 years now in what is known punitive battalions.
What was the next thing you did that gave evidence of your condition?
For example, I would say that the best thing Soviet Union could do now, because we're such a superior society, is to actually disarm completely. Because if Americans will actually come to the Soviet Union, they will quickly see that it's a superior civilization, and they will become inculcated in socialist way of life. We don't have to spend all this money. And there'd be chuckles and smirks all around. But, you know, you knew, again, one wrong step. And there were a couple of times when the psychiatrist would look at me and say, you are recovering a little bit too fast. Got moved from Novosibirsk to Tomsk with 2 armed guards in a train carriage to the psychiatric institution in Tomsk for what they called final treatment.
They let you go?
Well, they didn't let me go, no. I escaped.
I didn't know you escaped.
Oh, I escaped. Remember with the students, my orderly students from Medical Institute who were, you know, studying, malingering with me, trying to help people to escape military service, you know. They immediately snooped in my dossier, in my history mob, you know, and they found out I was going to be subjected to a very high degree of medication and ECT and insulin shock therapy, so they said, run. Yeah, and you had to, you know, get away to get to town into your striped pajamas.
What happened?
So what happened, I was again fortunate enough and quick thinking that I stole a horse at the railroad, at the railway station, which was brought by peasants who were drinking, covered myself up with rugs in the sled, because it was winter time, after I had run through the whole forest and managed to avoid the ambulances chasing me with wailing sirens. You know?
Were they?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it was a major thing, you know. And then ride triumphantly into the city, you know, with this horse. Get rid of the horse, you see, because if you didn't get rid of the horse, you're going to be found, because somebody's going to miss the horse, police is going to come up and get you anyway. Get rid of the horse. And so I was, I was free man, you know.
For the moment, he was indeed. But for the rest of his story, his amazing swim to freedom to the coast of Turkey, that can be told at another time.